The rule before us presents an important opportunity for Congress to continue its work to reverse the last-minute attempts at regulatory overreach by the former Biden and Harris administration. The rule includes consideration of S.J. Res. 13 to provide for congressional disapproval of a Biden-era Office of the Comptroller of the Currency regulation titled Business Combinations under the Bank Merger Act. Despite what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle may claim, the Biden administration's rule strengthens the dominance of the largest market players while undermining smaller community-focused institutions, limiting consumer choice and consumer access. We should strive for a regulatory environment that is streamlined, balanced, and rooted in practical oversight, one that protects consumers without obstructing innovation and competition. What we don't need are more Biden-era regulations that distort the market and smother opportunity with overreach. S.J. Res. 13 will ensure that future bank regulators cannot repeat this ill-conceived rulemaking, and that financial institutions can continue to make strategic, innovative decisions that will ultimately benefit American consumers.
Mr. Speaker, we are here today for a rule on two measures, two lousy measures doubling down on Republicans' agenda to help big banks and big polluters. S.J. Res. 13 is a gift-wrapped giveaway to Wall Street, plain and simple. It would make it easier for big banks to get even bigger, hurting small businesses and communities in the process. S.J. Res. 31 is even worse, a blatant handout to big polluters, putting corporate profits ahead of our constituents' health and safety. And this isn't new, Mr. Speaker. That's been the Republican playbook all Congress long. Help the polluters, help the banks, help Wall Street, help CEOs, help everyone except the working people who actually need it. And you may ask why? I would say follow the money. Look at the donations. One of the things we need to get serious about in this Congress, and hopefully when Democrats take control of the House after the next election, this will be a priority, and that is campaign finance reform. All this excessive money from big industry, from big banks, from corporations, from people like Elon Musk, pollute this chamber in a way where the needs and the wants of regular people get put to the side. It is disgraceful, if we are being honest here, Mr. Speaker. But as bad as these two bills are, and I can't emphasize enough, they're really bad, they're just the warm-up act. In fact, this is filler. We weren't even supposed to be dealing with these bills. We were supposed to be dealing with the budget reconciliation bill. Because of the disarray within the Republican conference, all of a sudden these bills appeared. Because in just over 13 hours, Mr. Speaker, the House Rules Committee will meet, starting at 1 o'clock in the morning, to debate a bill that steals from the American people so they can help out the billionaire donors who write them big checks. Now let me ask, if this bill is so great, so big, so beautiful as Donald Trump says it is, then why the hell are we debating it in the middle of the night? Why not debate it in broad daylight, where the American people can tune in and hear what it's really about? Well, we all know the answer. We all know the answer. And I encourage the American people to pay attention to what's happening very, very, very early in the morning here in the United States Capitol. Watch what happens in the Rules Committee at 1 o'clock in the morning. To all the insomniacs out there, tune in at 1 o'clock in the morning and watch what unfolds in that committee. Republicans do not want you to pay attention to their tax scam. Hell, Trump doesn't even want Republicans to pay attention to what's in this bill. He told you guys to close your eyes and vote for this garbage. Republicans were ordered not to say a word in committee, just fall in line and rubber stamp it. And now listen to this. Now they're sneaking a change into the rules, buried in the fine print of this rule, to give themselves same-day authority to bring the bill to the floor with a moment's notice. This bill is over 1,000 pages long. They want to ram it through the Rules Committee, potentially changing it, and we know that there are changes coming, and then vote on it just hours later. A bill that adds trillions to the deficit and kicks millions of people off their health care. Now, you guys once bragged about requiring 72 hours to review legislation. Remember that? Now you're ready to toss that promise in the trash to serve Trump's demands. And if my colleagues in the Freedom Caucus vote for this rule, they will have reached a new height of hypocrisy. It is unbelievable to me that they cry and whine about passing bills without the time to read them, and then they come down here and support ramming a bill through committee in the middle of the night and bringing it straight to the floor. Unbelievable, hypocritical. Let's be real. This bill that we will be debating, this budget reconciliation bill, is a disaster. It is unpopular. It is indefensible. This is all about massive, huge tax breaks to billionaires paid for by stealing from working Americans. That's not hyperbole. That is just the truth. It rips away Medicaid from parents and grandparents. It slashes food assistance for children. The biggest cut in food assistance in history is contained in this bill. It drains resources from the moms and dads, all to fund giveaways for those at the very, very top. And any backroom deals made in the next few hours to twist arms and to buy votes, well, they're only going to make this terrible bill even worse. And this is not what democracy looks like. This is what corruption looks like. And shame on every single person who votes to advance this awful process by torching any semblance of a fair process. A vote for this rule is a vote to allow Republican leadership to jam this bill through the House without enough time to even read it. Zero transparency, zero respect for this institution or the members here. Just close your eyes and vote for it. That's what Trump told you to do. Close your eyes and vote for it. Mr. Speaker, the American people deserve a hell of a lot better than this rushed, reckless process. They deserve leaders who work for them, not for the billionaires. And I urge a no vote, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. Members are reminded to address their remarks to the chair. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The budget reconciliation bill is the work of 11 committees that have gone through full markup, that went through the full bipartisan process. I sat through 27 hours in the Energy and Commerce Committee, so I know full well I had a front seat to the longest markup, just as my colleague did with his service on the Agriculture Committee. But that's not what we're here debating. Despite what some of my colleagues across the aisle are saying, the CRA that we're discussing right now is addressing standards for major and area sources that will actually promote cleaner and more environmentally conscious operations among manufacturers, refiners, and energy producers. The rule implemented by the Biden administration reflects a flawed approach, one that eliminates incentives for voluntary emissions reductions and imposes excessive regulatory burdens without delivering clear environmental benefits. Under this policy, facilities that successfully reduce their actual or potential hazardous air pollutant emissions below the major source threshold are still prohibited from reclassifying as area sources. This means that even after substantial improvements, these facilities remain subject to the strictest and costliest regulatory framework forever, indefinitely. This not only increases operational costs, but also removes a key incentive for companies to invest in cleaner technologies and practices, something we should all be encouraging. Under the Trump-era rules that SJ Res 31 would pave the way for, companies would have a financial incentive to invest in pollution controls, since doing so will actually reduce their compliance costs and regulatory delays. The result is cleaner air, a cleaner environment. The reality is that most of these companies and the people who run them live in the very communities affected by emissions. They have every reason to care about cleaner air and healthier environments. What they need is smart, flexible policy, not arbitrary and capricious restrictions that stifle growth and reduce competitiveness. and rewards emissions reductions. It allows regulatory classifications to reflect a facility's current environmental impact, not a legacy status based on past emissions. This flexibility fosters continuous improvement and aligns environmental goals with economic incentives. This is not about weakening protections. The contrary, actually. It's about applying regulation in a way that actually works, delivering clean air, encouraging innovation, and maintaining the strength of America's industry. Mr. Speaker, this is a common sense path forward to a cleaner, more sustainable future, one that supports jobs, growth, and the environment. This should be a no-brainer for my colleagues who claim to be the champions of effective environmental policy. But let's not be fooled by their rhetoric. The reality is that many on the other side of the aisle are beholden to a vocal and uncompromising wing of the environmental lobby. Groups that would rather see American workers laid off, manufacturing plants shut down, and entire communities economically gutted than support balanced, common-sense regulatory reforms. And, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a couple of things. First of all, I want to correct the record. The gentleman said that this budget reconciliation bill reflects a full and fair and open process and all the committees of jurisdiction. I hate to tell him, I'm on the Agriculture Committee, and the chairman actually cut off debate when there were dozens of amendments still yet to be offered. So that's not a full and open and fair process. Maybe by Republican standards it is, but by most people's standards it isn't. And the gentleman is on the Rules Committee, and we are debating the rule. And so I have a question for my Rules Committee colleague. This rule contains a fast-track process for the Republican tax scam, the so-called budget reconciliation bill. But we all know that deals are being made behind closed doors, changes are still being negotiated, big changes, we're told, big changes. So I'd like to know if the majority will commit to ensuring a Congressional Budget Office score is available on the final bill before it moves forward. Because we need to know the impact on our constituents. Not only how much it will cost, how many people will lose their health care, and how quickly they will lose their health care. Those are legitimate questions that, quite frankly, Democrats not only want to know, but Republicans should want to know as well. So I guess, can we get some, can I just get the gentleman to kind of give us an assurance is that will we know the impact, will he commit to ensuring a Congressional Budget Office score is available on the final bill before it moves forward? I'm happy to yield to him. Well, I guess we're not going to get an answer. I guess we all know why they don't want the nonpartisan expert analysis to be made available before a vote on this bill, because this vote is a monstrosity. This vote is going to throw off at least 14 million people off of their health care. This is going to constitute the largest cut in food assistance in history. People are going to see their nutrition benefits reduce, which will impact children, which will impact senior citizens, veterans, and those with disabilities. And again, and it's relevant to what we're talking about here today, is because in this rule, you provide the authority to just immediately bring the budget reconciliation bill to the floor, with not giving anybody, without giving people time to debate the bill, to be able to analyze the bill, for CBO to do their work on this, for us to even know what the impacts are going to be on our constituents. This on something this big. And by the way, I hear Republicans talking a lot about, we have this deadline, There's no deadline. There's nothing magic about having to pass this bill by tomorrow or the next day. You could do this right. You could actually have a Rules Committee hearing and markup in the light of day. And you could do it when you come back after the Memorial Day recess. But people should ask the question, why are they rushing so quickly? Why are they doing everything they can to jam this through before people have a chance to understand the full impacts of this bill? The reason why is they don't want the American people to know what they're doing. They're ashamed of what is in this bill. Again, throwing people off of health care, throwing people off of food assistance. Why? To give a tax cut to billionaires? Give me a break. We're here to help lift up people in this country, to be there for people who are struggling. And instead, this Republican Congress is about enriching those who are well off and well connected. I reserve my time.